All right, shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Badash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim out here pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability given to them by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Lord willing, fall upon our houses. It's your brother Kwanda Watt from the Arizona Great Millstone Camp coming back at you, Lord will, with that edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. Lord will, it is edifying, Lord will, to straight to the point. But I was reading this article, and you got a lot of people, right, which we've been seeing happen, for years now, man, for decades, man, people, and since I can remember, since I was a little kid, I've always heard about, doomsday preppers and stuff like that, man, and how they stockpile resources such as food and water, to prepare for, an apocalypse, right? Or, which they're also called apocalypse, preppers or whatever you want to call them, man. But nonetheless, you have people like this, and this article, basically goes into that, right? You got a lot of people stockpiling food. You got a lot of people stockpiling water, right? I remember seeing, it was actually a couple of days ago, I was actually getting groceries at the local Walmart, down the street from where I'm at. And this dude had at least 20 to 24 cases of the 18 packs of eggs, So he was piling up, man. Stocking up, and whatever his reason was, for having it, I don't necessarily know, but that was just what I seen, But nonetheless, a lot of people, they're worried about, what's coming, right? Inflation's taking hold. Prices are going up. That's what inflation is, right? Hyperinflation is soon to take hold, and ultimately supply is going down, man. Hold on. So I could just get outside, going for a walk. But yeah, man. So people are ultimately starting to see that. People are starting to get worried, and more people are starting to gather up, materials, which ultimately at the end of the day, even if you do stockpile food, even if you do stockpile water, right, that's not going to ultimately help you get through the times that we're in, right? It's by, wisdom and knowledge. The wisdom and knowledge, wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures is what's going to ultimately aid in you getting through the times that are at hand, right? So let me grab a couple of precepts on that, and then we'll move into this article. This is Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4, just getting straight to the point. It says, "But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High," right, man? So ultimately, again, not only do we eat, real food, physical food, but we also spiritually eat, man. And we spiritually eat through these words, man. You know what I mean? So again, at the end of the day, right, we're not worried about, that physical food, man. We're worried about getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which again is our spiritual food, man, which will ultimately aid in us getting through the times that we're in. And I'm gonna grab this. It's Isaiah chapter 33. It's like if Isaiah chapter 33 in verse 6, it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure," right? So again, us getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is what's going to ultimately have us moving the way that we're supposed to be, right? Applying the scriptures in the time of trouble, so that way we move correctly, right? Move according to the spirit of the Lord, so that way we can ultimately, make it through to the other end, man. Well, let's get back into this article, right? This is ZeroHedge.com. It says, here's why so many people are stockpiling emergency food now, right? It says, according to recent, and I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read these first few paragraphs. It says, according to the recent report by the World Bank, the share of high-income countries with extreme price inflation has risen to a whopping 85.5%, right? So it's not just here in America, right, where people are feeling that pressure, right? It's all over the world, man. It says, as everyone knows, inflation is making life miserable all around the world. The perfect storm of scamdemic-related supply chain collapses, coupled with military conflicts, boycotts, sanctions, embargoes, and other disruptions, has caused a severe shortage of nearly everything our economy depends on. That's right, man. So, just touching on a couple things that are happening, right? And just, a couple things that weren't mentioned, right? You ultimately have these so-called, climate issues, right? You have mega droughts happening here, really across the world, but, just more locally here in the Western Hemisphere of America, right? California, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Idaho, so on and so Colorado are all having these mega droughts where these lakes, right, in which, a lot of these states get their water supply from are starting to dry out, right? And a major thing is the Mississippi River has just gone dry, right? People are able to walk across the Mississippi River, from side to side, however it may be, and that right there is a huge vein in the American economy because that allows for wheat and other, goods to be transported inland, as well as to be transported out and right into other places, to reach, America, right, in other places, right, wheats and grains and so on and so forth, right? So all that is at a complete halt, man. Right, you have a lot of these cargo ships are not coming in to America, and or the cargo ports are completely down. Nothing's moving, nothing's going in, nothing's going out. So everything is at a complete stop right now. It says, furthermore, according to the World Banks, farmers have reduced the average of crops such as wheat after selling last year's harvest at a loss. Therefore, you can expect to see less food in the future because it takes time for food to be planted, grown, and harvested. Imagine how painful a months-long gap in food supply chain will be. It says all of this is painfully obvious in the form of constantly rising food prices. For the past few months, we've seen wheat prices going 15% higher than the month before. Same with corn and rice. Yet these are essential ingredients in almost all food products on Earth. When they become unaffordable, everyone suffers. That's right, man. It says, and again, with the war that's going on, right, just an added issue to the problem, right? The war that's going on between, Russia and Ukraine, that itself, has ultimately halted or stopped, two of the world's largest wheat and grain exporters from, being able to export any of their goods, man. So that's hurting them, right? Because they don't have money. When you export something, you're selling it, right? When it has money come in, and you're able to buy other products that you don't necessarily produce yourself, right? So they're hurting, right? Other countries are hurting, right? You got Europe is Russia has basically produced 40%. And continues to produce 40%. Not now, anyways. Well, recently it hasn't been, right, because of the conflicts. But the European economy runs, mostly from the Russian exports, man. Wheat and grain and so on and so forth, man. Their oil, But with all those things, basically in this conflict being completely stopped and or, made almost impossible to get unless you bend over to Russia or whatever, whatever needs for you to be able to get it. It's just not going to happen, man. A lot of people aren't able to get it. That's why you see the economy starting to suffer. That's why you see lights going out, right? That's why you see people starving, right? This is what's taking place, man. It's the times that we're in, right? It says that's why it takes many more Benjamins to pay for a full cart of groceries these days, right? Prices going up. It says to add to that, the devaluation of our currency because of the overprinting of money, trillions of extra dollars during the scamdemic, and we have a recipe for absolute disaster in the year ahead. That's right, man. So with which ultimately America just passed another $1.66 trillion aid deal going to Ukraine, right? With I think it was like 47 or 48 billion of it going directly to Ukraine itself, right? And then you have another 40 billion going to, poor children, whatever the numbers are, man. I looked at them earlier, but I know for sure about 47 to 48 billion go directly to Ukraine, You know, and I'm not going to read the rest. It ultimately goes into, you know, buying and, you know, emergency kits and, you know, so on and so forth. And, you know, as it says right there, bunker food, you know. But at the end of the day, man, you know, we're not worried about, you know, for those that are in the truth, man, those that are in the, you know, in the sheepfold, hey, we're not worried about stockpiling food, man. You know, because at the end of the day, the Lord is going to protect those that serve him, man. Right? When all hell starts to break loose, you know, when Jacob's trouble ultimately kicks in, right? What's going to happen, man? You know, you're going to have you are going to have, you know, some men, you know, that are in the truth that are ultimately going to be, you know, put in these FEMA camps, right? But a lot are going to be made pilgrims, man. We're going to have to be moving around, right? Matter of fact, let's grab that. Pill. Saki, I might be spelling it wrong. Saki, let's look that up. Pilgrims. Slakia. Come right here. Slakia, 2nd Ezra 16:40 says, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth," man. And so meaning we're gonna have to move around, man. Right? We're gonna have to move around. We're gonna have to, you know, we're not gonna be able to carry a lot. You know, so you got a lot of these people that make their bunkers and stuff like that. It will the Lord could have it to where these people are ultimately gathering up this you know, these food products, these resources, right, for a men of the Lord to ultimately stumble across those across, you know, their bunker or whatever it may be, right, and ultimately be able to get food, man. There was a movie, man, I can't remember the freaking the movie, man, but it was a heavy movie, you know, and this situation ultimately took place. I can't remember the movie. Lord will come to me, man, you know, but hey, this is what we're gonna have to do, man. You know, we're not relying on food, man, because the Lord said he's gonna take care of, you know, he's gonna take care of the elect, man. You know, those that are part of the elect, he's gonna make sure that they eat, man. You know, let's go to this. This is Isaiah chapter, I think it's the same chapter, Isaiah 33 and verse 15. We'll start at verse 15. It says, "He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from hearing of bribes," or holding of bribes, Lakia, "that stoppeth his ear from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil, he shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him, his water shall be sure." So again, those that truly trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, truly, you know, believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, hey, the Lord is going to make sure that they eat, right? The Lord is going to make sure that they're hydrated, man. You know, and you know, and you have to meditate on these things, man, because it might not be, you know, a shit ton of water, man. The Lord might have you run into a little store, you know, and there might be like 1 or 2 bottles left, you know. So you got to make that last as long as but nonetheless, others don't even have water, man. You know, because as it says in 2nd Esdras, right, just building in the spirit, 2nd Esdras chapter 15, jumping down to verse 19, it says, and this is going into Jacob's trouble as well, right? It says 2nd Esdras 15 and 19, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation," right? So we're coming into a time there's not going to be no food, right? 2nd Esdras 6 chapter, the 22nd verse says what, man? Its storehouses are suddenly going to appear empty. So there's not going to be any food, man, right? People are going to be trying to go to these stores and try to rack up, you know, and continue to stock up, but there's going to be a time where they go into these stores. There's not going to be no food at all, man. You know? So people are going to ultimately, you know, they're going to go home, you know, After seeing that shit, they're going to be freaking the hell out. They're going to eat whatever they have left at home. And what are they going to do? Right? They're going to go out searching. Right? It's going to come to a point where people are going to have to, break in and take people's food, man. Because these people are wigging the hell out. They don't know what the hell to do. But, hey, guess what? Hey, we're going to follow the scriptures. The scripture says, make not haste in the time of trouble. Right? So we're going to trust and rely on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right? He's going to guide us through the Spirit, man, on what we need to do, where we need to go. Right? Everything that we do in that time is going to be in the Spirit. Every decision that we make is going to be in the Spirit, man. So we're not going to be worried about that, man, because the Lord's got us, man. The Lord's got us, man. And I want to, what is that, First Kings, the 17th chapter, right? Just going into account of where there was famine and everything that was taking hold of the land, where the Lord ultimately performed miracles, right? To feed his, a man that trusted in him, a man that believed in him, right? An elect member, man. This First Kings, I'll start at verse 1. 1 Kings 17:1. It says, and Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord Yahweh power of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan, right? Which ultimately, there being no rain, which ultimately hinders what? The crops, right? So meaning what? There's no food, right? Crops are dying because they need water to ultimately survive. So crops are dying. Food supply is going down. There was ultimately a famine in the land, man, right? A famine of water, a famine of food, right? Which we're seeing today, right? Ecclesiastes 1:9. There's no new thing under the sun, right? So this situation that we're about to read about, or that we're, beginning to read about, and this same situation is ultimately going to happen, right, for the elect in the time of trouble, when those times come, right? And the Lord said, what? He said what? Verse 3, get thee hence and turn thee eastward and hide thyself by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. So the Lord was guiding him, telling him where to go, right? 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter says, for the Lord is your guide. Be not afraid, neither doubt, for the Lord is your guide, man. The Lord is going to guide us. He's going to protect us. That word guide goes into keep, right? To care for, to protect, The Lord is going to do that, man. It says, and it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. Right? So the Lord is saying, what? You know what? Hey, guess what? You go by the brook Cherith. Hey, there's your water. All right, well, don't worry about nothing else, because I got the food covered too. Right? So the Lord commanded ravens, birds, to go and gather food and bring it to this man. Right? And it says, verse 5, it says, so he went and did according to the word of the Lord, for he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan, right? So he has water source, right? Verse 6, it says, and the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. So, hey, the Lord provided that food and that water, man. His food and his water was sure with the Lord, man. And this right here, these are faith boosters, man. Right? Romans 15:4, the things that are written aforetime are written for your learning. And this man trusted and believed in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Therefore what? The Lord fed him. The Lord gave him drink. And we have to have that same mentality, man. We have to believe that the Lord is going to take care of us, man. And I'll keep reading because it's heavy, man. The Lord did make amazing miracles, man. Verse 7, it says, and it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land, right? It says, and the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee, right? So, hey, when we come into, the times that we're coming into, and the Lord might bring us to a place where we can eat and drink. Hey, but we're not to stay there, right? That's being, as it says, being pilgrims, right? We're going to continue to move around, right? The Lord is going to move us around, Otherwise, that trouble will come upon us, man, It says, so he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering sticks. And he called to her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel that I may drink. Because he was dehydrated, man. He needed water. You know? It says, and as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. And she said, as the Lord Yahweh thy power liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. So she's saying, hey, I don't have that much. You know, I only have enough for me and my son. And, you know, at that point, you know, we were, you know, going to perish. You know, because they didn't have no food. They didn't have no water. You know, so it was the end of the line for them. You know, but look what happened, right? Verse 13, it says, Elijah said unto her, fear not, right? Because again, at the end of the day, the Lord gave us not the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love and of power and of a sound mind, man. You know? So it says, verse 13, it says, Elijah said unto her, fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail until the day that the Lord sendeth rain. It's like it sendeth rain upon the earth. So we're talking about, if you looking at, let's say you have one can of beans, right? And you have a little small pot. You go in, put that pot on the stove, and you go turn that pot on, right? You cook those beans, right? And that's all you have. All your cabinets are empty. You don't have no rice. You don't have nothing else. That's all you got, right? And 1 bottle of water, right? Just imagine you going and scooping multiple scoops. You fill a whole bowl with those beans, right? And you pour that that bottle of water into a cup, fill the cup up, but the bottle of water is still full, as if you never poured water out. Or there's still beans in the pot, as if you never scooped any beans out, right? The Lord made sure that pot of beans never went away. The Lord made sure that bottle of water never went empty. No matter what. That's a fucking miracle, man. That's a freaking miracle. You know, Salakia, you know, for saying that. You know, it's a freaking miracle, man. You know what I mean? You know, and it's beautiful, man. And that builds your faith, man. You know, to know that, hey, the Lord has got his men on that type of level, man. You know? It says, verse 15, it says, and she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and he and her house did eat many days. So they basically, it's like, you know, and this is just giving you an analogy, right? So it's basically like she only had one can of beans and 1 bottle of water, but yet that lasted for many days, man. Many days. Many days. Off of 1 can of beans and 1 bottle of water. You know, and this is just to say, you know, I'm just throwing an analogy out there. It's not necessarily, you know, beans and water, what she had, right? But just to give y'all an understanding, you know, whatever she had left, that little bit that she had left, they were able to survive off of, man. You know? It says, verse 16, it says, and the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah. You know? So, hey, come on, man. Hey, that's beautiful, man. The Lord did multiple miracles for this man, right? An elect member, those that trust and believe in him, the Lord is going to do miracles for him, man. You know? Let me grab this precept. I got a couple more precepts. Then we'll get out of here. This is Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 3. It says, the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. So the Lord is not going to allow those that are part of the elect to ultimately starve, right? You go into that word famish, she goes into starve, man. You know, the Lord's got you at all times, man. Again, be ye not afraid, neither doubt. Slacky, I'm passing this truck right here, man. You know, and we have to believe that, man. Wholly have to believe that, man. You know, we can't doubt, man, because that doubt demon will creep in there and ultimately pull you away from, trusting and believing in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. So hey, we got to be solid, man. We got to be solid and trusting and believing in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He said many places that he's going to take care of us, man. Isaiah the 65th chapter. Isaiah 65, starting at verse 13, right? It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So many, all throughout the scriptures, the Lord is telling, speaking to the elect, saying, hey, I'm going to protect you, man. Saying, hey, I'm going to feed you. I'm going to give you drink. But everybody else is going to starve. Everybody else is going to be dehydrated. Everybody else, cannibalism is going to take hold of them, right? Because cannibalism is in the scriptures, man. Isaiah the 9th chapter, Jeremiah the 19th chapter, right? The 2nd Esdras the 16th chapter, right? Cannibalism is in the scriptures, man. Cannibalism is going to take hold of those that do not trust and believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, but it won't take hold of those that do trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Let me say that again. Cannibalism will take hold of those that do not trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, but cannibalism won't take hold of those that do trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. Because the Lord's got them, man. The Lord's got them at all times, man. Just getting to the point, let me grab that Psalms chapter 91 where it says that. Let's go to let's start at verse 8, right? Psalms 91 and verse 8 says, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Right, man. The Lord's going to bring all these plagues and evils and, and death upon those that are wicked, man. Those that trust and believe not in the Lord, man. Verse 9 is because thou hast made the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. So the Lord, is going to protect them, man. From famine, destruction, plagues, pestilence, everything, man. It's just how it is, man. It's what the Lord said he's going to do, man. And we'll end it with one more precept just covering that, Job chapter 5, and we'll start at verse 19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee, right? It says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. So again, all right, matter of fact, let's look at that word redeem. Right, ultimately goes into buy or to save, right? Right, to buy back, to ransom, right? Recover by purchase, right? Deliver from sin and spiritual death. There you go, man. It says, exchange or buy back for money under threat, right? Save from sins, to deliver, to save, right? So the Lord is going to deliver the elect from the judgments, man. Because it obviously it isn't for them, man. It isn't for them. It's all these judgments are for the wicked, man. All these things are for the wicked. Let's grab that. Sirach 40 and verse 8. It says, such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, that is, and that is sevenfold more upon sinners. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. Right, so again, ultimately, these judgments that are to come are only for the wicked. Right, those that are not wicked, the Lord is going to deliver them from those situations, man. So let's go back to Job. Finish that off, and we'll get out of here. Job chapter 5. In verse 20 again, it says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. It says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. Right, man? So ultimately, hey, man, the Spirit of the Lord is going to be with us, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to be with us at all times, man. Making sure and guiding us, to wherever we need to go in the time of troubles, right? If we be pilgrims on the earth, right? If it's our lot to be pilgrims and move around, the Lord's going to guide us. He's going to feed us, man, right? So it's not wicked to have, a little mini, bug out bag, so to speak, man. You know what I mean? Just so you can have a little provisions wherever, but we don't rely on that, man. We rely on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to take care of us, man. We're not these doomsday preppers, man. Ultimately, we are, we have the word, right? So we're supposed to be more prepared than the others. Hey, but nonetheless, again, we don't rely on those things. We rely on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? He's the one that's going to get us through the times to come, right? And taking heed to his word. And this is why we're constantly, coming out with these precepts, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, to warn our people, man. To warn our people to get ready, to prepare for what's coming. Scriptures say, be ye ready in Matthew's 24th chapter, man. Meaning to prepare for what is coming, man. Hey, it's nothing but death and evil is coming. 2 Peter 3:1, notice that the last days perilous time shall come, man. So we're in those times, man. So that's all I want to get. Lord wills that edifying. Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashem Rakakwadash. That belongs to the other apostles, other bishops, the great millstone. Till next time, I say shalom.